Now, if any of you guys have designed your own, or at least it's something, you never know when you're gonna need it. And as you can see, it takes up very minimal space here. So I wanna run it through this trim. I wanna come across the top, down this pillar, and I actually have a firewall just on the side of the dash here that's gonna go right underneath the hood and then connect to the battery. And make sure that when you do this, you're going all the way to the bottom. So we wanna push it all the way in. It can't go any further. It's perfect. Now I'm gonna pull it right back out again. And I'm gonna just give it a one quick blast. I'm gonna push it in quick and let go. What's going on, Jeepers? Pat here from Journey to Jeeping, and today we're going to be doing a follow-up video to the last one, the review of a Jeep Wrangler. So I'm going to do a part two. I got a couple more items I want to add to it, and yeah, hopefully you like it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content. Now that's out of the way, let's get into this one. All right, guys, so the first item I want to discuss is the bigger tires. We're going to upgrade our tires from a stock tire. Common item to purchase, everybody does it perfectly fine. The thing that nobody really tells you about though is once you do that, man, the sound difference you're gonna get. So your stock tire is nice and quiet. Jeep is designed with those tires, very quiet. So you turn around and throw these bigger tires on there. They got a much wider base to them. Just bulkier, bigger tread. They just hum when you're driving through the city and on the highway. You can hear them. It'll definitely force you to, turn up your radio a little bit louder. You're definitely gonna notice it. So just something to keep in mind if that's the route you wanna go. And like I said, most people do, so it's not like it's very uncommon. The other thing to consider with the bigger tire is your fuel economy. It's obviously gonna go down. You're going from a much smaller factory tire to, I'm gonna say, if you're gonna upgrade, you're most likely gonna go up to like a 33 inch, 35, 37 if you wanna get real crazy. But that's, you're definitely gonna end up changing the weight, the resistance on that tire. It's definitely gonna end up using up a lot more fuel. Not dramatically, but you are going to notice a difference. So just something to keep in mind if that's the route you want to go. I've done it on mine, and like I said, anywhere probably around like 420 kilometers for a tank. So it's doable. I'm not complaining about it by any means. I'd much rather the aesthetics and the function of having those tires as opposed to a stock tire. So definitely worth it in my books, but that's something you can consider. The other thing that I wanted to mention about it was when you switch to the bigger tire. So let's say you are stopped at a stop sign. I have this situation just outside my house. You stop at a stop sign, it is slanted, so you are going uphill. From that dead stop and then trying to accelerate up a hill, you are definitely going to notice a lot of extra weight resistance on those aftermarket tires. It's not just you're gonna lose a little bit of that pick up and go. So, if that's a deal breaker for you, then something to consider. But you definitely notice a little bit of hesitation. I'm sure you can, make changes with your gear ratio and whatnot. But if you are running a stock gear ratio, throwing the bigger tires, you are gonna notice that. So just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, so the next item I wanna talk about is the boxy design that the Jeep comes with. So obviously everybody knows what they look like, and very boxy. So just picture that driving down the highway, doing 100 kilometers, and you've got some strong winds coming in. Man, does that ever just push your Jeep around. You can feel it. When you're driving down the highway, you are kind of constantly, tugging that wheel back and forth a little bit. It's not overly dramatic, but you definitely know that it's there. And that has a lot to do with the design of the Jeep. It is, like I said, it's like a square box. Definitely not designed for speed by any means. Okay, so the next item I want to talk about, just to kind of follow up with the last one, is with the Jeep being so boxy, you end up with a flat windshield. it's small. The nice thing about it is it's cheap to replace because you are going to need to do that pretty often, especially if you're off-roading. I don't know what it is with them. I'm guessing just because they're just so flat. As soon as they get you'll get stone chips like crazy. You'll crack them. Even just driving down the highway. I don't know how many I've taken off the windshield just from transports driving back and forth. I don't know what it is with these Jeeps. I'm assuming it's the design of them because they're so flat, but man, it's like a magnet for rocks. They will crack and chip like crazy. So do not be surprised if you do have to replace your windshield. Not to scare you, it's not like you're replacing it every month, but I mean, you'll probably, it will be uncommon for you to say that you've never had to replace your windshield. Let's just say that. So just something to consider. Okay, so then for the next item I want to bring up is the interior. Obviously, these Jeeps are designed to have the doors come off, the roof come off. Your windshield actually comes right down. Like they're meant to be essentially disassembled. So obviously there's not going to be a lot of insulation as far as soundproofing and whatnot. So the one thing, and nobody tells you this, but again, this kind of falls in with the whole humming of the tires that I had mentioned earlier, but the interior is loud. It's kind of like loud to begin with, but to go back on that last item, like I said, add the tires to the mix, it's loud. So just something to consider. You are not buying a Grand Cherokee that has, the insulation in there. It's a nice luxury SUV. The Jeep is meant obviously to have those components removed, doors, roof, etc. So obviously they are not going to jam pack them with more weight for you to have to lift off. So just something to consider. Again, it is not overly dramatic. I know I drive it every day. It's my daily driver, but it's not a Grand Cherokee. It is definitely not that quiet. So just something to consider. All right, so now that I've hit you with a couple items that were not so much on the negative side, but just kind of something to consider, things to be cautious with, there's a couple items that I want to mention that are a little more in the pro column. The first thing, and I did a couple reach outs on social media just to see if anybody else had some items that I hadn't considered that they wanted to add into this, just to sort of pass along. And one of the things that came up frequently was the Jeep community. So it's kind of a pro with owning a Jeep is, it's not even just the vehicle itself, but it's the community that's around it. It has a big following. Everybody's pretty tight knit. And everybody's heard of the Jeep wave. You drive by and you see other Jeepers, and we all wave at each other. But there's so many forums, just different Jeep groups, websites, everything, and people they connect, and everybody's sort of. It is a community. It's a pretty tight-knit community, and everybody's out trying to help each other as far as deals or I don't know how many times I've seen posted on a social media group where they said, hey, is anybody around to help me remove my roof? And I don't know how many people, it's like you don't even know who they are, but they have a Jeep and they just offer their assistance. It's just that kind of community. And so just, something that's just kind of in the pro column with owning a Jeep. It's just kind of nice. Okay, one of the other items I wanted to add into a little more to the pro column as well is the Jeep as far as winter and summer driving. They're good for both, obviously 4x4. The summertime, doors come off, roof, everything. It is a wicked summer vehicle. You can take it off-roading, go on some dirt roads, you go pretty much anywhere with it. And then in the winter time, you throw everything back on, the doors, roof, and everything. And now you've got a pretty awesome vehicle for the winter as well. And with the 4x4 and everything, it works great. There are certain tires that, like the ones I have on mine, they're BF Goodrich KO2s, and the rating on, the winter rating for ice and snow is pretty much right up there. And then they're an off-road tire. So, even when you go to the aftermarket tire, a little bigger tire, you're still getting a great winter vehicle on top of it. And like I said before, the heat like the heater in that, they're so much better than a regular car. They heat up so fast. And, you know, it's just one of those items I mentioned in the first one. You know, they make it a fantastic winter vehicle as well. So it's not just a summer fun toy. So just something to consider. All right, next item I want to add to the list is the resale value of these things. These Jeeps are awesome for resale value. I don't know if you've looked for a used one or you've been shopping around, but holy, the brand new price is pretty steep. But even to pick up a used one, you know, they can have like 150,000 kilometers on them and they're fetching big money. So considering what they used to, I mean, I bought in 2015, you could pick up a 2-door for, like, you'd see deals. I mean, this is on the low end, obviously, like probably more of a clearance price, but you'd pick them up for like $18,000. And that was just for the base model, you know, 2-door manual, roll up windows and everything. But still, you know, now you're in the 20s for something like that with, you know, 150,000 K on them. So it's just like, it's been a dramatic pull as far as, you know, the financial end of things on them. Resale, the purchase price has gone up from what they used to be, obviously. They've added a lot of cool new features to them in that sense, like, you know, upgraded, you know, just quality and whatnot in the interior and everything else. But, yeah, like even just looking, like I said, in 2015, if I were to go buy one used now, they cost more money used than you used to be able to get them when they were, you know, on clearance. So it's, you know, the resale value is just pretty impressive, I have to say. So just something to consider, but I definitely want to throw that on the pro list. It's, you know, there's not many cars that'll still do that, or many vehicles, I should say. I know Toyota was like that for years and maybe still are, but you know, it's not too many American vehicles anyways that are hitting that list, but I would definitely say the Jeep's on it. So just throwing that on the pro column. So we kind of compiled this list. If you haven't seen it on this one, well, there's a good chance it's in the first video. So take the time and check that one out. Thanks for stopping in, guys, and we will see you next week.